reason I don't drive, the wheels go slide.
Well, all right now. I bet you got a name for it too. What's the name of your truck?
Oh, mama. Come on, mama.
All right now.
We getting the thick wool. Come on, mama.
All right.
Do it, mama. Do it, do
Tell the
it.
people what your name is, man.
My name is John P. Pettaway. And the P is partly. A young lady, when my mother was carrying me, they anticipated the fact that I would be a gal. But I didn't come here a gal. I came here a hard-headed boy. And so the lady said, regardless of what he is, I'm gonna name him after me.
Okay.
So we gonna name him John Pulley. She was named as Pulley Phillip. And she said she gonna name him John Pulley Pettaway. That's my name. I got John Pulley. That's how I got the Pulley.
All right. How you spell that P word?
Oh, she really didn't. She really meant to be named after her. She spelled it Pearlie, and that is Lady Pulley, but John Pulley Pettaway.
Well, you going with your bad self. How old are you now?
I am 91 years young.
Now, what do you attribute that long life to, Mr. Pettaway?
I attribute that long life to it being full of love. The first part is love God and want to be humble. I always loved God, and ever since Mama told me about God. And if you love God, then God is love himself. And therefore you be loving everybody. I done run up on some people, well, of all races. I'm running up on people that I knew was my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I still done them good. I can't say that. I still love them, but I couldn't say that it's the real, true. I love them, but I hated what they had done to me.
Yeah.
But I still love them.
Yeah.
And, I love everybody, but sometimes you can do things so difficult. You hate the ways, but you love the individual. But that's the God within you.
And I believe that's where we're going to have to go in this society too, isn't it, as a people?
It's exactly right. I would like to be talking from the White House and trying to tell the people of the world, let's build a world. Let's do away with some of this hate. Just like if it's something that you hate, and if it's a person, or place, or being, or thing, if you hate it, when you look up and see it, you might frown. And it take a whole lot of muscles to frown. But if you look up and see it, even if you hate it, if you smile, it don't take no muscles at all hard to smile. So you can live better, you can live longer by smiling. You go around puffing up, you strain your muscles. You might shorten your time, so don't hate nobody, love. And
Well, I certainly do agree with you, and I struggle hard to practice that all the time. Now tell me this, what do you remember about your boyhood, about your childhood?
Don't you go there.
Come on, let's go, man, because see, most older people don't want to talk about it. They just want to forget about it, and I want these young people to be able to get a sense of what it was.
Oh, everybody, what's
You
up?
mentioned Mama. You mentioned Mama earlier. Tell me about Mama.
I'm gonna tell you about me, and I'm gonna tell you about me. I'm sure not gonna be talking about Mama.
Okay.
So now, if you're riding a horse, get your feet in the saddle and get ready to ride some. if you're driving, push your seat back and come. I'm finna take you for a ride.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, when I was a little bit of boy, real young, I like to go back up in there. I like to go down there because it's important. I remember I was real young, and I remember when I was so young, it is the part that I can see myself when something happened, and I'll tell you this in a second what did happen, but I do know when that something happened, I can picture myself back and don't know how old I was, but I can remember right now when I was walking around holding on to Mama's dress tail. So I must have been mighty young. But I do remember that. And the reason I was holding on to Mama or dress tail walking around, something had happened then that it began to be rough now. What had happened then was it had become a tornado, I guess. It had become a terrible storm, and it is real, the cloud was real dark, and I heard Mama and them talking about it, and I could look out, because being in the house what I was in, you know, you could be in the house, but a certain portion of the house you didn't have to go outside and didn't have to open the window. You could look through one of them cracks.
I've been there.
You look through one of them cracks and see to the outside. So, the storm had come and I was following Mama around, and she was crying, and the other biggums, they was crying. And as I was falling around, the rain had fallen on my house, on my head, and I was in the house. And I didn't know, but all of a sudden, all I knew, it come to my little senses, that rain was falling on me, and then when I looked up, it wasn't no top on the house. The wind had took the whole top on the house, and we were walking around in the house, and that storm had come and took the top off our house. I do remember when I was a little boy, when the storm came, and it took the top off the house, and Mama and them was worried. They was walking around, and they was praying and crying.
Did they own that house, or was it Mr. Charlie's house?
It was Mr. Charlie, ain't no such thing
Okay.
at that time. Yeah, it is some such thing. But it is Mr. Charlie's house. But anyway, at my early age, when I began to know about it, at that time, that was before the other bad, the worst part happened to us. That's when I was a little boy. Then I walk around holding mother's dress tail. But I do remember Mom, but I don't remember where my dad was at that time. But then afterwards, I do remember at getting to be a larger boy, you know, coming on up around 5 or 6 years old. I do remember my dad was in place, and Dad was there, and he's a farmer. The way
Was he a sharecropper?
No, that's what I finna tell you. The difference in it right then.
Okay.
The way we farm, and my dad was kind of thrifty fella. He was not a sharecropper.
Okay.
He, when I was little and big enough to know, he rent a one-house farm. I don't know, I think there's about 50 acres of one-house farm. I do know you call them a one-house farm, and if it's more, it's a double house, it's a two-house farm, but Dad rent a one-house farm. And therefore, he would rent the land from the Caucasian, and he would pay his rent every year. He would pay for the rent of the place. And so when he rent the place, it's a rent, just like you rent now. If you rent an apartment, you pay your rent for a month, and you can't do entirely what you want to do with the apartment, but you can do most of what you want for that month, because you pay your rent. That apartment belongs to you that month. You do anything that would correspond with the law. You do that in the apartment. You could say who could come or who could go in your apartment, because it is just like you own that apartment for that 1 month.
Right.
But you did. So at that time, Dad rented that one-house farm. I think it was 50 acres, and he would plant. I do know cotton is one of the better growers. He would plant corn, cotton. But my dad was a thrifty man. He really was he was a Pettaway, and those Pettaways is some hustling people. Most anybody tell you something.
All right.
That would plant corn, cotton, peanut, potatoes, peas, okra, tomatoes, whatever you planted. And so we planted that, and Dad would sell his cotton, his gin cotton, etc. Because Dad, he sold the cotton in some type of way. I was in the war, but I didn't know exactly the business part of the war.
Mm-hmm.
But when he first began to pick cotton, I think because he had to pay the rent, I think the first bale or two he had, it had to be his cotton, and I guess the one he's renting from, I guess his name would appear on the bale of cotton some kind of way, but it wasn't 100% his cotton when he first started.
Okay.
But if he made one bale, 2 bales, and most likely 2 bales was gonna pay the whole rent, pay whatever he owed the one that owned the land. He would pay off the rent for it. Once he paid that rent and everything he owned, then he was independent,
Okay.
Whatever cotton he did was his cotton, because he had paid his rent, and he was good for the, to the next year. Let me go back in, and now the way I was talking, I was going by step by step, and
Right ahead.
it'll take me a long time to go over a life story going that slow.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit it with lips and dabs and keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. At that time, whatever we raised would belong to us, and it was a different day. That day is gone, and I don't guess it'll come back. At that time, Dad enjoyed making what he make, and you come in, if you want it, he give it to you. I remember we didn't sell back there. After Dad went to the hospital, I remember Mama, she raised different things, and people would come, and she would give it. I guess if she had been thrifty and would been selling it, maybe she'd have, made way far more money. But after Dad left, Mom took over the farm. My dad went in the hospital when I was very young. He went to Tuskegee to the veteran hospital. He was in World War One, and France. I think he was fighting in the France War. I think it was France, and he was struck by gas.
Okay.
And being struck by gas, it affected his mind. You know, he'd have a little breakdown when he come down, be all right, and have a little breakdown. But finally had a big breakdown, and he got real sick. I think I was about 6 years old, or be 5 or 6 years old, and he got real sick, and they carried him to the doctor. You know, he didn't have much money back then, but they carried him to the doctor, and it was noted that Tuskegee was what the VA hospital was.
Okay.
So then a veteran then had to pay to go in just like it is now. So they carried him to the veteran hospital. I was about 6 years old, and 6 or 7, but anyway, he went to the hospital, and when he came out, I was 17, so he must have stayed in the hospital a long time. But anyway, then Mom took over, and then my brother, oldest brother, was named Wilbers. He wasn't able to go to school and everything like cook up. He had to ply and do around. He took Daddy's place. So Mom was a mama, but she had to use the oldest boy to run the farm. And my brother, he would ply, and then we were coming up after we began to grow up and everything. I know when I began to plant cotton and corn, but cotton was the worst. I remember when I used to have to chop cotton. The first thing you did when you planted, it just planted in a long furrow, all grown up together. So you had to cut a trench in it and kind of space it out, and for it to make. It just be planted in a straight row, and when you went along to chop it, then you kind of thinned it out and made it in the hills. And so I used to had to do that.
Did you enjoy doing that? Or
well, I'm just fit to tell you, that's the worst days of my life. Oh, I hated that hole. Oh, but anyway, I was kind of lazy when I was young. Good lazy. So when hoeing time come, we used to hoe it, and then after we get through hoeing, we used to chop it. That's what you call it, chop it. That thin it out and getting it ready for grow. The brother would go down and he would put one furrow, but he'll put a furrow in it that break it. I don't know exactly what, but he'll put a furrow in there and throw the furrow up in the middle, and then left the cotton for you to chop.
Okay.
After you chop it, then he did that with a towing pry, and then after he got through chopping, he'd come back with the sweep. And then with the sweep, that would go down and sweep, throw dirt both sides. He'd go down side it, and so when he go down, he'd just throw dirt up around the root of the cotton or corn or whatever it was.
Okay.
And when he throw the dirt up there, that'll kind of stunt the grass and let the, whatever it is, cotton, corn, millet, whatever, let it grow, and that's what you do. That's why you had to ply it. You plied it to kind of let the dirt go over the grass at the root or whatever you plant, and then the cotton, corn or whatever it was a good chance to outgrow the grass because you throw that dirt up on it and sun it, the grass, and then it get up pretty tall, and then you go back and you call horn the cotton. That first was chopping, and the second one horn. That is, you go and cut the little grass out of it and get it ready for to let it go on and do whatever it's going to do. And I remember that part.
Okay.
And I used to have to be in chopping first and then horn the next time. And then when it come around to after you got through and matured and whatever it was, if it was cotton, the cotton opened up into, the bowls opened up into white cotton, and that was the total time. Then you had to pick cotton. Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't go back there.
So you didn't like that?
Oh, I did not like that. So I'd be picking that cotton with that long sack, and my back would be hurting me so bad.
How many pounds could you get per day?
Well, I'm gonna go and get to that.
Okay.
I picked, and I think most of the time, at that time when I lived, I come with 50 or 60 pounds
Okay.
a day when I was young and lazy. But I would pick about 50 pounds. Mama and the others, they pick 100, 200 pounds, and they get it. But I pick I back to be hurting somebody, so I reach down and pull a bowl off, and then stand up and pull each one out and put it in my sack. And so Mom thought that I guess I was so lazy. Mom thought that she was going to let me work at my own pace for 2 days. She wasn't going to bother me, wasn't going to say nothing. But I didn't know that she was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So she let me work at my own pace. I worked at my own pace. I pull a bowl and pick up and put it in the sack. And I picked a lot of cotton because I picked 20 pounds in 2 days. And so Mom told me what she had done and told me what she was going to do. She said, boy, I'll let you work at your own pay. And you have picked 1 sack full of cotton in 2 days. You got 20 pounds of cotton. She said, you going to work, boy. You understand? Yes, ma'am, Mama. Boy, I didn't love no woman when she started talking. I was, yeah, ma'am, yes, Mama, yeah. And she put up a stock of the cotton with the peel and all. You understand what? Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mama. Yeah, I'm going. Boy, I didn't want that woman. So she turned me loose there to work, and then I picked some cotton in because I didn't want that woman. And so that year went by, so I had got on the right path. So on and on, Mom run the farm, and we lived good. We lived real good after getting by them 8 days and getting off past them and look back on them. Because we was the poor family living in that area, working for your living. Dad had left them on our own farm. And so Dad went into the hospital, and I don't know, at that time, it was that time, and whatever went on in that time, it went on, and thinking about it, let it go, because ain't nothing you might have could have done something about it a little while, nothing you could do about it. Anyway, Mama had 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. Dad went in the hospital, and well, I guess they had to do it that way. Mom just could not have, living in that part of the country, she could not have got her check coming directly from the government to the mailbox, and she got her own check. Mm-hmm. At that time, the system with the whites and black, the way he was living, Mom just could not have got a check coming directly from the government to her, because if she would have, she would have been getting more money than most of anybody, white or black, in that area. She'd have been getting much, or maybe twice as much money. It wasn't but $20 a month now, but $20 a month in 30. I born in 29, so 36 and 37, 38, 39, $20 a month, cash money. That was good money, but she would, raise cotton corn, and she would give away milk and butter. She'd give away, but every once in a while, folks would give her a little something. So she did good with the gifts she got. So we lived good. But if she had been a thrifty woman trying to save, she could have saved a lot of money. Cause a dollar at that time, I guess today, I believe a dollar back in '39 was $20 now. I'd be a dollar worth $20 now.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. Cause you could, she used to send us to the store, and I remember going to the grocery store not so far from there. We had to walk or ride the mule, and had no bicycle. And she would send and get a dime worth of sugar and 20 cents worth of 20 cents worth of I think lard. You buy a lard, you had a pure lard, and you had this other lard, pure lard, but anyway, it's two types of lard.
Mm-hmm.
The pure lard was just regular grease, and the other was the shortening. Yeah, the other was called shortening.
Okay.
And you had to cook biscuit and things from the shortening, because if you put the pure lard in the biscuit, it'd be heavy. So I remember that part. So she would send and get her food. She could get a dime worth of sugar and 20 cents worth of fat bag. That'd probably be a big old wide piece.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a little piece of fat bag. At that time, they sell you the fat bag and give you something that they give you to go along with it. You know, something you sell it and give you something along. This is the good old days and the bad old days. We'll get on leave on from that. So then that.
Now let me ask you this right quick. You guys didn't raise any hogs or cattle?
Well, I'm so busy talking on that, I left off the good part. Then.
Okay, come on with the good part.
So we had hogs. That's what I told my mama was giveaway. She gave away them.
Oh, okay.
We had hogs, and
when you guys had meat, then everybody had meat in the neighborhood, right?
that's exactly right. But we had hogs, and at that time, the hogs what we had, the breed of hog we had, it'd take 3, 4, and 5 minutes to hang him up. The hog weighed 300 and 400 pounds. Great big hog we had. Them big hogs, and when the cold weather come, and she'll kill hogs, she had to get people down there to kill the hog and put them up on a thing that they made to hang it up and gut them and everything. Mm-hmm. And so then we would pack it down and put it in salt and let it stay so long, and then hang it up and smoke it. And we had the best kind.
Now, did you like that duty any better, or did you just didn't like no kind of farming?
Did I like what now?
Did you like that, the hog killing and preservation and all of that? Did you like that part of farming better?
Yeah.
Or did you hate it all?
Yes, I did, but I had to tender heart. I always had to tender heart. So I was with the hog killing and the dressing of the hog. I was with that. But when you got ready to kill the hog, I go elsewhere.
Okay.
And you kill it. I didn't want to be the one I didn't want to see you kill it. A lot of times they cut the hog's throat, you know. I didn't want to see it. Mm-hmm. And when they kill it and hang it up or kill it and go scraping it, I come back, but I didn't like to see the kill.
Okay, that's interesting.
And so we killed hogs. We had chicken, and so I had hunting for chicken. You know, we go along, had a little hen house, had a little place we called a hen house. Mm-hmm. Some of the hens are lay in the hen house, and some had a nest elsewhere. You had to find out where they had the nest, and then when they lay. Sometimes when you find the nest, it'd be a half dozen eggs or a dozen in the nest. When you did find it, you go back, and we had plenty of eggs, butter, milk, and stuff. And we give it away. Mama give it away. I remember people come from the country, and they know they come to Mama, because she'd give them eggs, meat, whatever she had, she'll give it to them. They'll give her a little something, but she'll give it to them. So that went on. We lived good because she got $20 a month. She didn't have to touch that, so she could have. I don't know if she did save. She could have saved $20 a month because she made the whole living. That check come, and that money could go in the bank. I don't know how she did, at that time, but so we lived good. So we wanted her to buy a car. Other people had cars, but Mom, she couldn't drive, and she didn't buy a car. So at that time, we come through in Ottawa County, and I lived up there in Ottawa County, in the area of the place called Statesville, a little above Statesville, which I got a land up there now, and on up the further, we call the Red Cross store. That was the name of the store. That's why we would go on a Friday and Saturday night, and we had a big time. And so
my store was Charlie Evans' store.
Oh my goodness, you know something about that.
So I had one too. Go ahead.
So when we go up there to that Red Cross store, a lot of time we go up there about 12 o'clock in the day on Saturday. We wait Fridays, and then me and my brother and my uncle, my brother and the uncle wait. My brother would get through with his farm, and then he could wait for the white man along with my uncle. My uncle worked with him all the time.
Okay.
But when my brother would wait for him, that'll be cash money. But I don't know if it was $2 a day or whatever, but it wasn't much. Yeah, so, but he'd work and he'd have his money and he'd share it with Mama. So we got along good. So then I got up pretty high in age. We had 9 cattle, but you had to tie them out. We didn't have a pastor. You had to tie them out, tie them or somewhere where they could graze along the line.
Right.
And when you tie them, you're moving from one place to the next one. That's what I had to graze the cows before I go to school and milk the cows and graze them. And I was a little shepherd boy, and they put that on me, so I had to jump up and go milk 1 or 2 or 3 cows, milk them. Sometimes Mama helped. And so when I get through milking the cows, I carried the milk in the house, and then I had to be done got dressed, and sometimes I get through time enough to start off. With the others, we had to walk 1 mile to school, St. Matthew Baptist Church, but we went to school. But that was a little old building and the church. I think at that time they didn't have nothing but the church building. That's why we went to school.
Okay. So
they'll be gone. They'll be halfway there. I had to carry my uncle's lunch, breakfast. Mama fixed my brother and sisters. And my uncle was her brother, so Buddy Joe and Wilbert, I had to carry that brother. Sometimes I'd be going to school this way, and they'd be working a block down in the field that way. So I come up here with the others, and now I got my little bucket and whatever. I got to run way down there to carry that brother. And my brother was working, and another fellow he was working with, it was a nut, but I remember Joe Steele was my brother's friend. So I'll be bringing Buddy Joe here, Joe Palmer, that's my mother's brother. But they'll see me coming, and they always flying for the white man. They're flying, they was. And so, but they didn't have tractors back then,
Right.
So they'll see me coming, and when they see me coming, they might have to go further down, but they'll stop because they know the breath was coming. They wait till I get there. Boy, I'm coming out running. I'll be running. So I drove my car, might have had a little stick or whatever it was. And at that time, I was driving a stick, and that was my car. But today I drive a BMW. That's my car. So I come a pretty good way. But that time I driving a stick, that was my car. And usually when I wasn't driving the stick, it'd be the wagon, the thing on the wagon wheel, get a little piece of iron and then twist that wire together and you push it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had one of those.
So I would drive down and carry them, the breakfast, and then Mr. Joe Steele, he couldn't wait. They call me Johnny Boy. All of them call me that, I don't know. But Johnny Boy, yes sir. Before you go, turn it around. Yes sir. So I come down there, Vroom, 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 vroom. I'm driving that car. I had to turn it around just away.
You had a super imagination, huh?
Yes, sir. I had to go in and catch up with the others. Sometime I catch them just before they get to the school, because it had a little ditch you had to cross, and they had a little bridge built, but it never was a good bridge. The wagon across that bridge, and some people had a car, so they had the little bridge, and it wasn't so good, but you had to cross that bridge, and sometimes I catch them just before they cross the bridge, and sometimes they'll be at the school. Well, when you got to the school, if it was in the wintertime, the teacher was there, but she didn't know how to make a fire. You had a stove, a heater was like a stove, so you had to make that fire in the heater and get it the money in order to be warm in the place. It'd be real cold when you go there, but you know, we as country folk, we know how to get that fire going. We be pulled up some kindling and have sit somewhere in the place there, and we'll get that fire going real good, and then we'll have classes.
Do you remember any of those teachers' names?
Back there, then Miss Annie, something other was the teacher.
Okay.
But I know when I moved to, I know when we come to Daddy's County, I was 14 years old, and then after we left Target County, I was a big boy at 14 years old. I remember when we moved, I had a place called Everdale. That's out there by the hammer mill, not far from the hammer mill.
Okay.
So we lived out there. We moved out there, and we started farming there. And we did some good farming. And
were you on your own place then, or were you still on white man's place?
We never did own our place out there.
Okay.
We were rented, so
okay.
We could have bought it real easy, but Mom wasn't thrifty like that for buying. She didn't go for buying. She just rent, and she was satisfied with that.
Okay.
And then she wouldn't buy us no car neither, but she could have. But anyway, we come up out there, and we lived good. I started working in town in Selma. I bought me a bicycle. It's eight, I believe it's 8 miles out there, I believe. I don't know, there's so many miles out there, but anyway, I started working on Broad Street down there by Carter's Drugstore.
Okay.
Across from Carter's Drugstore, it was a grocery store, a Hill. It's a Hill grocery store on Broad Street. And back on Washington Street where Washington Street Supermarket was, it's out of business now, but he'll stay there for the longest. And it's shown up was the big store. Washington Street Supermarket. That was a big store, so that's why people would shop at. But I was working at Hill's grocery store, and it was a grocery store, and over by Washington Street a supermarket, it was Hill's Supermarket was over there. He had two Hills.
Okay.
So I worked at on Broad Street, and I saved more money, I guess, than I saved. That is the most money I saved when I was working at the grocery store. I was sacking groceries, and then you sack groceries, and the people come in and trade. You carry groceries to the car, and they give you tips.
All right.
So every day I left with a pocket full of money. Some of the guys that worked at the grocery store was in school, but I wasn't in school. I was a full worker.
Okay.
Some would work part-time, and I was a full worker. So me being the full worker out there all day, and it was 2 or 3 more guys with the full workers, so we worked there all day. But then...
So you had dropped out of school then, or had you graduated?
I hadn't graduated. I just didn't go to school.
Okay.
I went...
What's the last grade you went to?
I think about 10th grade.
Okay.
And when I come out of the military, I finished high school and went to trade school a couple of years. I didn't... When I come out, I finished at Hudson High, and I was going to college to Selma University.
Okay.
So life afford whatever it afford in life, and ain't nothing you can do about it. You just live among time. Whatever happens, is happening. Ain't nothing you can do. So when I finished high school at Hudson, then I went and registered to go to Selma University. So I finished on GI time. I was going to school and getting a check too.
All right. That's
Yeah.
2 of us.
Yeah, so I finished at Hudson High. That was the new Hudson. I had 2 or 3 brothers, Woodrow Wilson, Givan, and Smith. Several brothers I had. Woodrow, he went to Alabama State. I think Givan went to Alabama. Both of them, Woodrow went to teaching. He taught in Montgomery.
Okay.
Givan, I think he started teaching. He lived down there. He went to Ebenezer. And Smith, he went to Ebenezer. So we had several teachers, but I went to register for Selma University, and it just so happened when the time for the school to open, the government disqualified Selma University. It didn't qualify enough for me to go there to college. They disqualified it.
Okay.
So I had enrolled in college to go to Selma University when I finished at Hudson High. Well, I didn't choose to go to Alabama State because when I got out of service, there my daughter come. When I got out of service, I bought 2 cars. I bought a Ford.
So you was hungry for a ride then, right?
No, not exactly, but I knew what I wanted to do.
All right.
So I bought a Ford. I think it's a nice Ford, real nice. And I bought a Chevrolet. Both of them were nice. Whatever, a real nice Chevrolet. So I kept the Ford to ride around when I get out the boat. And so I drove the Chevrolet, and I put it on cab. Boy, that was a good car. I made more money. Others be stopping. It had a little rusty plate inside, but it had a motor just like a brand new one.
All right.
Others be stopping. He just stand the shift. I would be going. I had another cousin living. He called him Jabbo. He worked on the railroad, and the railroad went from steam engine onto the diesel engine.
Okay.
And when they changed over from steam engine to the diesel engine, my cousin Jabbo, he was a real strong worker, but he got laid off. They hired, the white.
Okay.
So I think he was able to retire. He got retired, I think. So anyway, he bought him a new car, and then he had another job. He started working somewhere else. But anyway, I was able to drive that new car around. He's good to me. When I had an old car, I parked my old car and get in his. Well, I living it up.
All right.
And then I had money too. I remember I was waking up there to Hill Super, and I do know I had good money. So my brother decided he'll buy him a car.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to spend my money. I saved. I had my money in the bank.
Okay.
So my brother bought him a car, and he let me drive his car every once in a while for me to give him some money, So I throw some money on him, and he tell me I drive the car, and you'll be back at 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
I just remember that my brother was somewhere. He said, you'll be back at 7 o'clock. Now, he meant 7 o'clock. Not 7:01 and not 7 and a half or 1, 7 o'clock. That's what he meant. I couldn't, I'm driving the car, getting out there with the goods and different things. Just before time to bring the car back, I'm having the best time of my life. Now I got to go carry him the car. It's his car, but he didn't just have to have it at 7. He could have lit a little bit and tell me if you're having a good time, if you can't get you at 7, come at 8, or 7:30. But he meant 7 o'clock. So he had his strictness, and I had to help him out with the car, and so. But half of the time the devil just went there. My good time come is 6:30 or 6 o'clock. And when 7 o'clock come, boy, I had to carry the car back. I'm having the best time, but I don't want to hear. So 5 minutes after 7, I'm trying to run the stop sign, trying to get to him. And I get to him 7:05. I'll come back. I just walked over.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
I get to him.
I'm following you.
I get to him 7:05.
Did he have an attitude?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When I get there, got so-and-so. I told you to be here at 7 o'clock, I said, my nails, what you talking about? It's just 10 minutes after. 10 minutes after? That's not 7, is it? Nails, I started back. I started in time, but the traffic didn't let me get you. I had to run with the traffic and get. Well, I told you to be here at. I said, well, I'm here at 10 after 7. Now, what about it? If you again, you be here when I said, oh, well. So, I didn't like that at all. Mm-hmm. So, when it come my time to use the car, I went on and used it. So, then I started singing. I sang with Charlie Furlow. And, boy, he already had a group. But when I started singing, Sam Cooke was sang with an end of Jubilee. I think Sam Cooke come out of Birmingham. Mm-hmm. But Sam was singing with the Inner Jubilees, I think, whoever it was. Then Sam went from Birmingham and went to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started making records, become famous. So Sam Cooke, he started making all them good records. He went in the money.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam was a very good songster. John Pettaway sang like Sam.
Now, were you singing the blues? Or
No, I
gospel?
sang spiritual, but
Okay.
Sam first sang spiritual too.
Okay.
But he went into pop when he went. But anyway, my voice sound much like Sam Cooke. They called me almost Sam Cooke himself.
Well, all right.
I was a bad boy.
Can you hit a tune now?
Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Oh Lord, come and go to that land, the land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Oh Lord, come and go to that land where I'm bound.
Where you going with your bad self?
Tell me about it. So then I started being friends with a fellow named James Jemison.
Mm-hmm.
A.C. Jemison was running, he's driving truck, hauling log. He's running log.
Okay.
A.T. was a big logman. Had 7, 8, 9 truck hauling log, making good money. A.C. Jemison was a logman. James Jemison was a farmer. They had 2 or 3 tractors. So James, he made money. I was working and made pretty good money. I had hundreds of dollars. I had hundreds of 20s and 40s and 50s and 100 in my pocket. Maybe I had maybe 200. But James had hundreds in his pocket up to 1,000 and 2,000. He had the money and a new car. Mm-hmm. He had a new 49 Lincoln, I think, and then he got a 50 Buick. And so James, he was all right, but I was popular. I could sing,
Mm-hmm.
and the girls, I was a Mr. Hit. I just popular. I lived a young life, and I was a wheel, I was really. So James started coming by, and I started riding with him, but he had a new Mercury, but he couldn't go nowhere in the Mercury and feel satisfied that he got to get me. Mm-hmm. Now he working for himself. I'm working, and I got a job working at night at the oil mill, Swift oil mill. And I worked from 11 to 7. And thank God I didn't kill myself, because I got off at 7 o'clock and get a couple of hours sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep no more than 10 or maybe. It better not rain. Mm-hmm. If it rained and he couldn't farm, he was on the outside blowing. Mama was living there. Mama said he sleep. He wasn't gonna go nowhere till I woke up. He gonna be sitting there, and they better not tell me he was out there. Do I gonna wake up right then? So I sleep a little while, and then I get out there, and he's out there. Then me and him gone running the goods. I'm the popular fella. They after me, but then that rubbed off on James. He got the money and the nice car. I'm the popular fella. Willie Washington drove truck.
Now, let me ask you a question about them girls now. What kind of girls did you choose as the best quality women for you at that age?
At that age, the most beautiful girl,
Had to be the prettiest one in the crew.
beautiful and well dressed and everything, I'm gonna be sitting up there singing. Well, you know I'm telling the truth, Lord, so I might well go and say it. Might well go and say
Come
it.
on with that truth.
Yeah, so I'm sitting up there. I'm so popular, you know, 'cause I was a young fella, and when I lead, I was almost like when I get up there, boy, they was throwing up there. And it didn't go to my head altogether, but it did give me the big head, 'cause I
Yeah.
was good.
Okay.
So, but when I get out there singing, one of the best looking gals, the best dressing girl, not one of them, two or three of them, I see them, I tell it like it is now. It happened. And every those days, but it was me. And I be looking over. And if you're looking in the audience and you see all the people, but you see some good looking gals, and you see some of them keep watching you, you know, you see who you looking over where. And when you look at her, she watching you, and you look at her and she may turn her head. You look at the other and they maybe turn, but you sit up there, you eyeballing them, all the good looking ones, what you can see. And I'm singing, but I'm still liking them good. And so then after, when intermission come, the program ain't over with, but all the best looking girls are coming up there, and some of the goods might not look as good. They just trying their best to get to you. The good looking gal know she look good, and she just standing over there, got herself all propped up. You with these, but you see who you're trying to get to. So you got to talk with these. You got to go ahead and talk with them, but you hoping that she don't move, cause you trying to get to her and she waiting on you. She knows you're trying to get there. So after we talking, and I get a chance, and I bag on, and you know, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm doing just fine. Who is this, Miss Who? Your name is what? I'm such and such a thing. Boy, you know, when you the star, they at you and you see them, and they talking your way all the time. And boy, hear me. And so now I done made go with this bad looking one. Now I go back up there. I got to finish the other part of the story, but I'm watching this one. What I'm talking. Then, in you watching that one, you know, you got fellas. Sometimes their state of being, how well they were going in that state of being, however they was, it showed up in the dressing. You know, they come, and you kind of know a fella was kind of a wheel, like, you know, the way it dressing. So I'm up there singing and trying to serve God and sing like I should.
Just gonna tell the truth.
Then I see one of them good dressed fella come up and start talking with the gal what I got my eye on. I'm singing, but I got competition. Now you singing for the Lord, you can't hardly sing.
I hear you.
You singing, and somebody talking with the girl, you got your eyes. I'm waiting.
So you singing and praying at the same time for forgiveness.
I'm waiting for this thing to end. Oh, I got to try to get her before he said the big word, and I can't get her. I already got my word in her, and now I'm singing, but he got the girl. And
right.
oh, I want to get to him. So then, being so popular, if he ain't a wheel, when I get through singing and the intermission coming and I walk off, if he ain't a big wheel, she gonna leave him and get with the crowd, you know, to get to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if she doesn't leave him, the others are singing, but she's still, I'm looking though, she's still looking, you know, if they're looking at me, I don't know how to say it, but if you're eyeballing somebody else,
I got you.
and they're eyeballing you, when you look in their eyes, they are looking at you and you're looking at them. Most likely, if they are looking another way and you're looking at them, then when their eyes catch yours, you ain't gonna, most likely you ain't, you know, when they catch yours, you're gonna look the other way. But if the one that you want to see, and when she does catch your eyeball, you eyeballing her, and she eyeballing you. And I want to see it.
So you're talking with those eyes, right?
In the finger.
I clearly understand.
Well, I've been there. So then when you get through, and now you get through and get a chance to go get her, there you got a good one of them tough dressing for you know he's something else.
Mm-hmm.
And he done got stuck on her, she good looking. He want the best looking one, you want the best looking.
Mm-hmm.
You popular because you're in the group, and he popular because he got the money.
All right, now.
So the
All
popular
right.
group fella got to go up against the money. So
All right.
I have
Very
I have
interesting.
taken it out. Sometimes I win.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, most time I win though.
Uh-huh.
And
Absolutely.
even though if I win, me and you boxing it out, and I was trying my best to get, but you hit me licking, you knock me down, and you gone.
Mm-hmm.
Just cause you got it gone, that don't say I don't give up.
Yeah.
I ain't give up.
All right.
You got it, but you ain't gonna keep her night and day. I'm gonna find some kind of way to call her, and then she gonna be wanting to get to me anyway. And I'm gonna find somebody. Do you know so? Yeah, I know that girl. What you talking? Yeah, I know her. Can you tell me? Yeah, come on. I got boy. I might not. The other fella got the new car, but I got something to drive in. I kept it for the good old car. It might not look so good, but it ran good. So I found her. Well, when I found the gal, I knew, and anybody looking at this interview, and if they happen to get a picture or a copy of this interview, if it's a young man or whoever you are looking at it, you listen to me, I'll teach you something, because I've been there.
That's why we're here.
So
and that's why we are communicating.
So